Hey guys, Boren here from Assay, coming to give you another video on kind of my writing process, how I wrote some of the stuff for Opus Quest. Sticking with the song Where's No Further, it's the final track on the Opus Quest EP. Today I want to go over two segments briefly. One kind of in the middle section, a bridge, so to speak, in this song. I want to go over the musical ideas for what I had for that section, and then kind of the refrain, a part that many people have said, is sort of a part that gets stuck in their head, a part they enjoy lyrically, vocally. I'm going to go over both of those parts today. As you can see, I am in Logic Pro. This is where I write everything. I score it like music that would be scored, almost like sheet music, so to speak, or most things I just put each piece together. I use, mostly MIDI to do that initially, and then I go in the studio, record things like drums, bass, keys, guitars, vocals, ethnic instruments, whatever, could be recorded, and then some of these sounds here end up being finely tuned and being a part of the final product. So as you can see here, I've got all the instruments that I used in this song, excluding all the actual recording takes for each of these. And then I've got at the top here the final mix and master. So you're going to hear a lot of unmixed, not refined levels, etc. from the MIDI segment. And then you're also going to be hearing some of the final mix and master. So this is the section I want to start with, kind of the, like I said, bridge. It's hard to say with some of this really progressive music because there's so many segments, more like an interlude, so to speak. It's right at the end of the first chorus. So it's this whole really calm part up into that there. So as you could tell, just even looking at, a final mix and master, which is pretty compressed, you've got a lot of growth there. Things are really, shifting throughout this time. So I'm going to go ahead and change this for you. So in the song, this is about 3.5 minutes in to about 5 minutes. So musically, we drop down to this really calm stuff here. I've got a kind of a weird sounding clavichord there, a couple melodies going on, a high timbre kind of sound with the marimba. I've got some really easygoing pads there. And then what really encapsulates this segment is the theme from the female vocal. And that'll be this part here. The female vocal, the answer is there. Come to me. It's sort of the answer to all the preceding questions here from the other video. Is this the end? Where's the end? Where's my limit? The answer is come to me, which is kind of an answer, but it brings about further questioning. And so you have this segment here with that come to me, the female vocal, all kind of wrapped in the theme of this 10/8, 6/8, 6/8 time signature, calm stuff here. And then you've got this segment here you see start to come in. You don't quite hear it initially, but it grows into this here. And the vocal, the male vocal at this point is saying, how far will you let me go? How close will you let me come? So it's the response, it's dialogue, so to speak, of the come to me, and it's bringing about even further question, further tension, it seems. And so the music of that segment with those lyrics differs from the music of the female vocal. you can hear it. So that's in an alternating 8/4-10/4 time signature. You've got different instruments there, instruments that are different from the other stuff going on. So really you've got a musical theme for each part of the dialogue, each voice, so to speak. And what I did here was had everything really calm down and then slowly start to grow into that tension. So you can actually see the drum part is starting to come in and you start to hear it. You can hear the bass. The guitars. It's all starting to grow. You've got your volumes there that are starting to rise with it. You've got a lot going on there. Now, I really wanted to create that tension. I wanted those time signatures. I wanted the music. I wanted it all to fight each other. I wanted that tension. And so you even have this pad here. Where is it? You've got, basically you can kind of see this dash stuff here. The filter opens up as this starts to grow, and then I've got some strings that start to come in with it that kind of add to that tension there. These are all things that are kind of hanging on to each part, because this segment here is really calm. Well, you have this going on. When this starts to come in, I start to want to build around it to keep attention pulling to both ways. And you can hear there, I've got a nylon string guitar doing that same melody. So I'm wanting to keep pulling to each kind of part of the conversation. At that point, this is over here, but it's actually right about there. So just for your sake, I'm going to go ahead and move that over. You can hear where it comes in there. I'm wanting to pull attention back to that melody instead of letting it start to go into the drums and guitars that are all, you know, starting to become present. So you've got this kind of calm sort of answer, but these really tense questions that are wrapped around these intricate drum beats, guitar work, bass work. And then I have this fun little synth here that starts in the very beginning. You can't really hear it. That note, super quiet but high pitched, and if you're looking here, you'll see that it's panning. And also if you look here at these kind of ridges, you'll see that the filter is also opening up on it, so that by the time, I can't really fast forward this part, but by the time it gets to the end segment here, it's going to have a really broad, high timbre sort of tone to it. Just kind of going along with that sort of theme of the increased pressure, the increased tension. This note was meant to kind of add to that aggravation, that irritation. You can hear the filter opening up now. And it just grows. It gets more and more irritating, more and more aggravating with the music. It's in the background. It's super subtle. It's not panning anymore because I didn't want it to draw that much attention. You can hear just how irritating that is. I wanted to build that tension so that we could really encapsulate, you know, what's going on between the two voices in the dialogue. So here we kind of transition into the next part, which is the refrain. So we have a little transition here. So just a little musical fun there. You can hear the strings kind of really take off there, and then we have that fun drum fill, and then I kept this distorted sound pan to the left along with this clav here. So real quick, right after this build-up, you have that, and then sweeping in from the right, you have this interesting little, you know, percussive cymbal. Really adds to, you know, just some musical taste, musical flavor. And in the final mix, that sounds like this. So then this is the next part. This is the refrain. If you can't tell, it's going back to the, you know, same kind of riff and beat from earlier in the song. You just have a vocal line. And that's the main difference with this part, is the vocal line. It reaches a internal conclusion. If I reach the end of me, would I find you there, will you find me? Not so much of a conclusion, but a shift from the tension. It's more like a resolving question, if that makes any sense. And so when I brought this guitar riff in the beginning, it was meant to return to this part and be kind of really anthemic. And so in the mix you have Now, when I wrote this, I wanted this part to be kind of an earworm, something that's really catchy, something that the listener could latch onto, something they could really, you know, hear and understand. Because we didn't have a whole lot of that right here. I really wanted this part to soar, so to speak, emotionally. So one of the ways I did that is to write the vocal lines super simple. As you can tell, the rhythm of it is very, very simple. Sorry. do it this way. Very simple. I also needed something simple because over this 17, 18, 17, 22, 16th time signatures, the alternating ones, it's hard to create something that, you know, somebody could sing with, something that somebody is really going to hear and understand. And so to assist in that, I needed to make the vocal line very simple, rhythmically, melodically. Obviously it's high melodically, but still something you can hear, you can lock in with. The vocal line always starts about one beat after the new measure, which is super helpful when you have these weird time changes, because it helps, you know, your ear adjusts to the time change, and you have a second to, you know, align with that. So super simple, super easy, and I allow that part, if you don't remember that little guitar right there, I give space there for that melody, because there are a lot of melodies going on right here, especially between the guitar and the vocals. So, and they're kind of covering almost a similar range. The guitar is just under most of the time where the vocal line is, and so there's a lot of melodic stuff going on here, but I gave a little break here, and then when it comes back to that segment in the 22/16 part on the second time, I give a little more vocal, you know, something to make the vocals stand up some more, give it a little diversity to it. Sorry. And then we repeat. The rhythm here for the drums changes. And of course I give some, you know, vocal inflections to change it up a bit. So in that section, when we repeat the refrain, a couple things change. I use a synth to bring out some more of that guitar part. So we have this. That little synth there just gives it enough that it brings some energy into it without overtaking the vocal, and because of kind of the high register that I use right before then in the vocal line, it kind of shifts in a way that makes it feel like another voice. It makes it feel like a similar voice. Maybe you can kind of hear it. It's even the same note, that high note there. So it just kind of adds to, you know, keeping that same feeling, almost as if there are two voices kind of speaking the same kind of emotional vibe. And then, of course, the drums change. We went over the drums for this part last time. And the second part shifts just to keep the energy growing. Even though it's a high energy part already. So you'll notice that between the vocal breaks, I give a little attention to the snare. And that to me kind of helped. You know, you're kind of used to, by now, the guitar part going right here to 22. And so this brings more attention to the low guitar part instead of the high part. So and I changed that up a bit in the recording, obviously, but it brings it more to this part here. It just keeps it kind of low, more tension in the driving force, as opposed to, where's my lead guitar? Well, it's somewhere. Either way. And then between the vocal breaks here, it just kind of helps keep the energy up. It keeps the emotion engaging. Really, with such a long refrain, it's the only time this happens, and so you have from about 5:16 in the song to for about a minute. This is going, so it repeats 4 times the vocal line. It's a long vocal line, simple lyric, but a long vocal line. But it's the only time it appears in the song, and so I wanted to make it stand out. I want it to be very climactic. And so, fortunately, even with all the stuff going on here, there's still a lot of headroom for the drums to grow into, which they do here. So yeah, that about wraps up what I wanted to cover today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you look up an Opus Quest on any music platform that you listen to. Right now, until the 29th, I've got a deal going on Bandcamp to get you the entire EP for less than $4. It's 35% off. If you go to Bandcamp, the link will be below. Purchase Opus Quest and type in Opus_gratis. That's OPUS_GRATUS at checkout. That'll get you 35% off. Make sure you follow on Spotify, like on Facebook. And yeah, feel free to comment, shoot me some questions, shoot me some emails even. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what we covered. Let me know if anything stuck out to you, if you have any questions about what I'm doing here. If you'd like to see something in particular from one of the songs, I'd love to put a video out for you. So, yep, hope to hear from you guys soon.